So hi all aspirants and welcome to the session. My name is TLB or Aswathy and I'll be your friend, your mentor and your guide throughout your civil service examination preparations. And today's session I'll be discussing about a question being asked by a serious aspirant, and each episode I promise you that I'll be discussing series of questions being posed by all these upcoming aspirants. And today's question is, why didn't the Britishers settle here in India? And we know that they are here from 1757 onwards till 1947. But yet they didn't settle here in India. And why is that? This is regarding with contrary to what happened there in America. At the same thing happened over there. They went there as colonies, but they settled. They made it their homeland. But here they just plundered and looted. So why that indifference? So we're going to discuss all that in detail. So until the 1400s, we have to understand that these people had a huge misconceptions that Earth is flat. That is, if you venture out to the open sea, you might slip and fall down and perish. And even before the sea routes being established, they had a huge extensive link through the Silk Route. And the problem was that ever since the Mongols invaded, or ever since the Islam as religion started to rise, this started being a serious threat or a problem to the Europeans to having a trade ties with these Southeastern and the South Asian countries. So that's the reason why they started finding out all these alternatives to these silk routes or the other ways to find out all these holy grails, which is the India. And yes, the first person ever to set his foot here in India is Vasco da Gama. He came here in Calicut and thus opening up the extensive sea route to all these Europeans, and they haven't looked back ever since. And yes, fast forwarding to our East India Company, which was formed in 1600s, but they came here in India in 1608 in Surat. And yes, with the royal court order or the Farman from the Jahangir, that is then the Mughal Emperor of India, they established their first factory ever in Surat, and then they established the second factory in Masulipatinam, and then 20 years later in Kolkata. And ever since then, they have three provinces under them, which is Madras, Bombay and Bengal provinces. And then comes the Battle of Buxa in 1764. And we all know what happened after that. They started getting all these revenue rights, that is right to collect all these revenues or taxes from these civilians. And yet from those days onwards till 1947, they were here, but they weren't the permanent settlers. So why is that? They were here for 200 long years, but still despite all these facts and figures, they didn't settle here. They didn't make this their homeland. So why is that? The reason is very much simple for us to understand. One reason, that is resources. Why did they come over here for resources? And they have it, the Holy Grail, India. And which is the resources? Raw materials, the opium, cotton, silk, and yes, all these indigo dyes. And yes, the most important resources that they got here from India was human resource. That is the most cheap and gullible laborers who are highly skilled craftsmen, and they knew that they could never replicate all these handicrafts, all these craftsmanship. They can sure steal our creative works, but they can never steal our creativity. And with all these reasons, the other reason that we come in with the conclusion is the humidity, topography and climate of here in India. Our Indian subcontinent is a tropical nation, and these Britishers are from the land where their average temperature is 18 to 25 degrees Celsius. For them, it's unfathomable to be here in such hot and humid, wet, sticky climate. And yes, India, home to highly densely populated people, are also home to all these bacteria, fungal infections also. And these British officers have died mostly due to dysentery, dehydrations, diarrhea and yes, of course, a heat stroke. So we can't think about a reason why they have to settle here. They're getting all these resources, yes. Then why do they have to settle? No need for that. All they need is to plunder and loot, and they have it. They have their say. It's a win-win situation for them all. So that's it for today's episode. And I really hope that I was able to convey myself to all. And if there's something else that you want me to discuss, do let me know that in the comment section. And this was it for today's question. And if there's any other questions that you want to ask me, any analysis that you want me to discuss, yes, I'm open for that also. So thank you so much. Bye for now.
Logic, School of Management.